All right, recording has started. Welcome everyone to the, what is the date? August 20th iteration of the MicroProfile live Hangout. Thanks everyone for joining. It is everyone's shared responsibility to take notes. A link to the notes are in the chat. I think I could probably post that in again for everyone that's joined after I posted the link. It is everyone's shared responsibility to take meeting notes during the meeting. So please, please, please take notes during the call. Also, if you are attending the meeting, there's a contributor section. Please add your name to the list. Company name is optional, or just individual contributor or something like that. Okay, so let's take, let me share the screen real quick. Share. Chrome. Okay, does everyone see the browser?
Good morning, good night, everyone. Yes, thank you, John.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let's head on to the agenda minutes. Edwin, would you like to lead the roadmap update?
Yes, of course I will. So let's start off with metrics 2.1 today.
Yeah, we're still on track. So we have two smaller conflicts, merge conflicts we want to resolve, and then we have a topic down there that we want to resolve or not. And then we will cut our RC1. And this should then be enough time to have a GA afterwards, as we don't expect any fallout, and implementations are implementing the spec changes so that these are implementable. TLDR, things look good.
All right, nice. Anything from health check?
Yeah, hello, Martin speaking. Sorry, I missed the meeting today, so I don't have any update really. But we are working on it, and hopefully we can tag before September 14, I think.
All right. Anything from LRE?
Okay, that would be me again. We released RC1 last week, finally.
Mm-hmm.
And basically that's the big news. And we are now working to finishing TCKs, and we would like to have final release as soon as possible.
All right. So it's going fast. Anything from GraphQL? Anybody on the call?
Yeah, this is Andy. We're still targeting October, but that's not still a somewhat aggressive schedule for us, but that's still our goal at this point.
Anything you need from us?
No, we just get the work done.
All right, thanks. And back to you, John.
Okay, there we go, off of mute. I thought I'd also just point to last week's minutes. I had an AI to provide links for the updated process where we only have to do a project review once a year. So I provided links to that in the chat. Sorry, in the meeting notes from last week. So let's see here. I'm going to go back to today's call. Oh, I don't think Ken is on. I copied this over. So what this is, last week we discussed the idea of tracking JDK 11 support within the various specifications. So MicroProfile still only requires JDK 8, but a lot of implementations are also supporting JDK 11. So we'd like to track this, and we're tracking it actually in this call. So can each of these spec teams go to the JDK 11 runtime wiki page and update the status of support for JDK 11.
And one clarification, John. When you said we mean the architectural call from last week, just to make it specifically for anyone here who wasn't in that call. That is the decision we made back then. Just clarification.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I got my meetings mixed up maybe, but yeah, in the architecture call, we agreed to track it here in this call, because this is kind of where a lot of the folks on spec teams congregate. So we're going to be tracking this. So sometime before the next call, live Hangout call, please update this table with support for JDK 11. All right, thank you very much.
I have one question. Do we need to somehow publish the results of like TCK runs or something like this? Or it's just enough that I try locally and update the table?
No, we don't have to, implementations don't necessarily have to go and rerun. Really, this is just stating whether or not, I think from a spec and TCK perspective, that we can, that we're compatible. So basically that means we're not using any, I was going to say not using any JDK 11 APIs, for example, but we can still run with the JDK 11. I don't know if that answered the question. I'm kind of talking in circles.
I actually didn't understand your question, Edwin.
And Martin is asking, basically what I'm asking, if I can just try to use JDK 8 compiled binary locally in some project, and if it works, I can update the table, or do I need to publish some steps or TCK results publicly?
You don't need to. Actually, we are going to, we are, as we say. So at the moment, even in the implementation page, we just say, okay, this runtime pass the TCK. And I think in the future, I have been thinking along the similar line. We should say, okay, you need to document where the upload the TCK passing log or somewhere to make it more formal. For now, you just run. There's a two column for this. First column basically is for example, let's take MicroProfile health. You can compile using Java 8, and then you can run on Java 11. And second one, you compile using Java 11 and run in Java 11. So that's kind of thing.
Okay,
you
thanks.
just take one runtime, and that's enough proof this spec is Java 11 compliance or not.
Okay, so local is enough. Thank you.
Okay.
I think for most of them it should be good, because Payara, Tommy, and some other vendors are already running under JDK 11. So
Yeah. So
I think most of them are okay.
Yeah, so you're quite right, John, Luis. In the MicroProfile starter, we are trying to think about once the first column is complete, we can switch on the Java 11 in the starter. At the moment, it's just Java 8.
But I want to point out that Martin's question was, should the testers run if they are already running the TCK and they can post the results, why wouldn't we accept that? I know we don't have it set up, and this is something that we actually should check first. It will be a simple process that can be on. When we say big vendors or small vendors are already doing this, it makes it so that an individual developer cannot run the TCK. Why that? It bothers me that most of the weight will be given to some, not others, when we can distribute to whomever wants to. This is why the TCK is open source, right? We wanted it to be. So why shouldn't we have a place where it can be, I don't call it dumb, but shared and using Git, use that data for another. So what do we think about this?
I
You're
think
gonna
it's,
go down because you mute yourself at probably the best point of your sentence.
I was saying that, where do you hear me? Sorry about this. It's because it's a little bit loud here. So
Okay.
where do you hear me? Tell me where do I start? Because I want to know.
It was just the last 4 words.
Yeah,
Okay.
the last sentence, basically.
Okay, the last sentence is, why should we stop anyone from providing the results when we have...
nobody stop anyone to provide the results. So basically, it's kind of, I'm just saying, no, it's not a requirement. But if you really want to point it out, okay, here is the proof. Yeah, go ahead to do that. So I think
where do we?
I think it's, the point is we need to, I mean, think it through. And at the moment, I just brought it up. In the implementation, at the moment, we do not ask for proof. What's your proof to pass the TCK? So I think we should do more thinking and to set up a better standard. Maybe we open up kind of another folder. You upload your logs to this folder and etc. I think we need to discuss that. But for now, yeah, go ahead to add your proof if you have the proof. Nobody will say no, don't prove.
Yeah, I understand it. I understand it. So I want to hear, and I'm sorry that I'm on this, but what do other developers that are not vendors think about the possibility to report your tests? So you choose to run the TCK. Do you think this is valuable? Should we start a thread in the forum before we decide on anything? Wow, crickets. Kenji, you are here, but you are also a vendor, so I cannot even push you. What about Java? Ruan, you're here. You're a developer. What do you think?
I think, yeah, it depends on the vendor. So if the vendor wants to publish the information about the TCK, so you can do it. But if you don't want to,
Candy, we lost you. What?
Yes.
Candy, we lost you, but go ahead.
Yes, yeah, it depends on the vendor. If the vendor wants to publish the information about the DDK11 runtime, so they can publish this information here, this wiki. I think it depends on the vendors.
So you propose that the vendors that want to can use the wiki, but individual, what do you think about individual contributors?
I don't think the individual are not necessary to publish this information.
But if they wanted to, it is okay, right?
Yeah.
All right.
But that's
anyone else?
Whether or not vendors claim support with JDK11, that's not what this action item necessarily is. They're just checking the compatibility of the specification in binaries, ensuring that the specs and the TCKs don't hinder the use of JDK11.
Yeah, I was about to raise the same question. So I agree that the goal is really to focus on the APIs and the TCK, not really on the vendor part of things.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said just choose randomly pick any vendor, any implementation, and then if it's the spec is TCK is able to pass, that's good enough. So that's why I think we had enough conversation on this.
Yeah.
Okay, and John Louise, I like your background. We're going to have green screen wars here. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go move on to the next item. Heiko, you want to take it?
Yes, so we have an open ticket in metrics for a while about some test dependencies with CVEs. And we thought, well, that's on one side, why should we care? Because it's only a test dependency, so it's not run in production on a live server or whatever. But on the other hand, we thought, okay, perhaps it's a good idea to just update stuff to have non-vulnerable dependencies. And 2 out of the 3 ones that are reported, we can easily update. And then there's one shrink wrap that pulls in this JSoup dependency. And the shrink wrap version that I've mentioned here is the one that MicroProfile 1.3 seems to pull in and has been a CQ with Eclipse. So apparently it's not only us that are affected, but others as well. And I was basically wondering, how do the others deal with that? Did they upgrade? Did they ignore the problem? Don't they know about the issue?
I don't know necessarily what the other specs are doing, but this is a good topic that we should discuss, because we don't really have this formalized backwards compatibility, definition. So, how far do we go back, right, and support these old TCKs and solve this problem? So I think this is a good topic, and I think part of the topic should be, how far back should we go and make sure this stuff is up to date. And we should probably label something somewhere saying this version of the spec, TCK is no longer being maintained or something, and be clear about it.
Is this something to be discussed here or in the architecture call?
I suggest we should at least discuss on the mailing list so that people can think about it, and then to see which spec are affected. I think bring up in the architecture call if there's action and etc. to agree on if we don't have any general consensus and etc. I think we should bring up in the architectural call.
Yeah, even if we are not backporting to all TCKs, but here I'm wondering, because it's test dependency, if we sort of say, well, we don't care, which is probably wrong, or if we would solve that on the, let's say, umbrella level, because it may be a dependency that others pull in as well. I don't know. I think the shrink wrap stuff is used in all the testing for almost everyone.
Yeah.
Is there a like a kind of a MicroProfile parent that all MicroProfile specs can inherit in Maven that might cover off some of these common dependencies and obviously the life cycle of those across all of the TCKs and specs?
No, there is not. I created a ticket like last week maybe after the architecture call, but we haven't yet discussed that point. I think that would be great, because at least we could put some dependencies together and make sure that the platform, the MicroProfile platform, is consistent in some regards.
The other thing is I think individual specs also pull in shrink wrap, and maybe it's a time to see which dependencies had better to be pulled in by parent, and then the individual ones just directly inherit. I think it's back to the Heiko's point. I think we should fix the vulnerability if we still support it, and I think it's not a huge task anyway. But this, however, is effectively all the older specs need to do a micro release.
So I'm adding this to the next architecture agenda meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if somebody else could, that would be great. I see someone else is about to do it.
I just wanted to say that I agree that it shouldn't matter if it's test dependency or not, because it's just not a good image. If we know there is a vulnerability, we should update it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just we didn't have a position on it so far, I guess.
Yeah, and also do a mailing list discussion, because not everybody is kind of attended to the course. So I think that people check their messages asynchronously, and also read the issue on the architecture code. Here you go. You got more to do.
Yeah. These days I'm more on these calls than on the group. Okay. Okay.
Okay, enough said about this topic. I think we should move on to the next one. It's the marketing.
Sorry. Yeah, I was sorry. I was talking into mute that whole time. You guys missed some really gems of wisdom.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. So, sorry. Okay, marketing minutes or marketing discussion. We're at 11:22 my time. Sorry, 22 after the hour, so we get till 32 after the hour.
Amelia, you take it from here.
What is it? Like Edwin and David are here. I think David is not here, but Edwin, you were the newest. Both, like, I don't see David, but Edwin, you can say about the interview, what went down. It's a chain of MicroProfile to MicroProfile onboarding interview. What went down?
Yeah, well done. That's a great job.
Yeah, it was really a trip through memory lane, or down memory lane, of what I had done in my career already, and summing it up and making a story out of it. So it was kind of fun, and I hope a lot of people read it. So I hope more is to come, and that the story continues, of course. But yeah, this is what I have done until now, and yeah, I've kind of grown up with the Java E environment, and I hope to stick with that for a long time. As a conclusion.
And Edwin, it was a candid retrospective. Did you feel in any way that your privacy was violated, that we can do anything better, and they get the steps? We have a wiki for it. I haven't seen you or David adjust anything, but David is next with Cesar from Tommy Tribe. So do you have any feedback that you can write directly in the wiki, or do you believe that we have tackled it and it can be better maybe by the next person?
Yeah, in all honesty, I didn't consult the wiki too much because I already did know what to do. And in all honesty, I can kind of left it to David because he was the interviewer this time. So he was in charge of walking through the instructions because he was new to it. But I think it's a good suggestion to contact him as well and see if me and maybe he together can look through the instructions and see if we can adjust anything. But yeah, it worked out perfectly until now. So yeah, I think it's not bad.
Yeah. So then, Edwin, will you draw someone that you will see that is new or coming into MicroProfile and invite that person on an interview? Would you do that? Like, it has been done to you. Can you own it and be scalable? Make me scalable is the right question.
Yeah, so that would be interviewing you.
No. I mean, you see someone new that comes in. We have Ruan. We have so many. We have, Pavel. We have Emerson. We have so many people here. Jean-Louis, all these people, they have been here, but now I'm more constant. Would you think, hey, it would be nice to hear more from you? What about X? My question to you is, would you own it and say, hey, do you mind doing this interview, and just find someone else. We can find someone else on the call that will enable that interview to go through. That's my question.
Yeah, I think I can do that. I will just talk to anybody on the call and see who's interested to share the story. So yeah, I definitely can do that.
Awesome. You guys were great.
All right. Anything else under marketing topic?
I have a quick question. We have Code One, we have EclipseCon Europe, we have Vox Paris, we have many different events happening. Again, and we continue to say this, there are ways that a speaker can send get issues, and we will push via media. All the media, that means Twitter, Facebook, you name it, all of it is linked. But if you don't write a ticket with the requirements, at least 2 weeks before, if you know that the event happens 2 months from now, even then, send it off. That is helpful. Also, John, I need your help. We need the Red Hat team to play by the rules that has been set up by the Git. There are some tickets being created that do not have Git tickets, that do not have the process that we have in place in this project. And if this continues to happen, what do you think we should do? Because we're not operating alone. We operate together and in the open. When things show up, we have a problem. So what do we do?
Well, this has to be worked through Cesar, right?
And Ryan and Jean-Louis join the marketing calls on Mondays. No matter the feedback, it continues to happen. So what do we do? It's not about, it's open source.
Well, I mean, I was on the call, if I can chime in.
Go ahead.
So pretty much all that happened. I don't know if it's an issue, honestly. Red Hat already started doing branding for, I guess, MicroProfile styling for social media. So they already made a bunch of tweets and tickets and all scheduled to go out or are going out, which I don't see a problem. But they scheduled it for, I think, only the Red Hat speakers. I think the only issue is if we want consistency with the branding. This was kind of just done. But if they want to go with this branding that was done, they just need to provide the source files, and then everything is consistent at least. But it was kind of out of the blue. I don't know if that's out of scope or whatnot, but I don't see an issue with it, except that if one thing is going out from the MicroProfile handle for Code One, it should all look consistent. So they just need to provide and be a little more heads up next time. So a bunch of other companies aren't trying to, or different tickets are being done in a different style. That's it.
It's not companies.
If that makes sense.
We're talking about individuals. When we have access to the Twitter media, Tommy Tribe, for instance, doesn't push our media. We do our best to push everyone together. If it was only Tommy Tribe, we would have a problem, and we would withdraw the access that we have. What Ryan is super clear at saying is when we have events, the Git is added, and everyone can help create the media because the media is shared. And what we need is cohesive operation that works in a manner that the files are provided that has the design folders, and we say, hey, what do we want to do? The Monday call happens so that we can say, what can we do with that event? But it didn't happen. So what I asked is, can we, via you, John, tell us how can we do better together?
Well, again, I'll defer to Cesar, who manages the marketing aspect. So,
I think it was.
Sorry.
That's great.
yeah.
That's what is great. So yes.
So can I say something? I happened to join yesterday. I agree with Ryan, and Cesar is started working with other vendors and creating social cards, and is trying to coordinate the booth as well. I think is or Cesar is handling that. I think I continue working with Cesar and I think Teresa and etc. All involved for the marketing team. I think they are looking at the Code One and EclipseCon Europe and also the swags and etc. There's minutes also there.
And just a time check, I got about 2 minutes left on marketing.
Oh, I mean, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
I don't know who else is on the call that was on the marketing call. I guess just us two, Emily.
Possibly.
But I don't know. It just matters how everyone else feels. But I don't see it being a huge issue. Just I think lack of communication or lack of setting a standard that can be scalable for everybody. Like we made before templates for everyone to use for conferences or different things throughout the year. I think it's great to have a different style for a big conference like Code One. But if we're going to be sending out multiple things promoting not the company but the community, then it should all have be synchronized. So I'll make sure I write Cesar again and get the templates and try to send out a link to where everyone can have access to it.
Yeah, I think these are all actually really good points.
I really love it. Anything that needs to be tackling in the open, it's perfect. Because only those that do make mistakes, and it's not a mistake. It is always something that we can do better. So I love this conversation. Thank you so much, Ryan, for bringing it to our attention here in this call.
All right, next topic, Emily.
Yeah, so basically it's, I also sent an email to the Google group conversation. However, I want to bring up here is because we have upcoming releases. So at the decrease, and then some people told me, quite a few people told me it's really difficult to find out the individual specification PDF and Java docs. And then I told them you have to access the individual release and then releases tab and then to see the spec, etc. And then some people think, okay, some spec you have to download the PDF and etc. So I bring this up and John, if you click the link I put there, so I propose like this new format. So basically you can you click on the link? So basically,
sorry.
Yeah, this is good. And then if you click on Java doc there, so it will directly point to you to the Java doc and etc. So this is quite neat. You don't need to attach any like a PDF. If you go back, John, and then you click on PDF, it can directly open up a PDF page.
Oh. A different that may not show. Oh,
yeah, it shows. So everything is in the download.eclipse.org. So basically, some spec release engineer doesn't know. I mean, everything is listed in the download.eclipse.org. So I think it's from now on, and all the releases should use this kind of format. And also, I had a chat on the marketing call. That's why I joined the marketing call with Ryan in particular, and proposed to design MicroProfile.io page hanging around MicroProfile.io to list each umbrella release. In each umbrella release, we list all the individual spec release, and then each individual spec release, you click on the link, and then you can directly to see the Java doc spec and PDF and spec HTML. So basically, it's in summary, and like Heiko, you are going to do the new release, and similarly for the health check and the GraphQL and also the LI, we should use this kind of format. So I also put, as I said earlier, put a message on the Google group as a discussion. There's one problem is some old releases is not, because they didn't use the new build engine. So some artifacts are not on the download or Eclipse.org. So we need to find a way, trying to find somewhere to upload PDFs and etc. Anyway, so let's continue the discussion on the Google group. So that's all from me.
Yeah, my thought was along these lines. It would be nice to have this somewhere on the MicroProfile IO site, so I can have quick access to a spec. And I like the idea of also including the issues that were addressed in the latest version of the spec. So again, probably not a topic for here, but I really like the idea because it's too hard to find out where the specs are unless I dig around a lot, you know, if I'm someone coming to MicroProfile. So
yeah, so for the MicroProfile.io site, I raised the issue on the MicroProfile site issue. So basically we need to agree on the design. Let me give you the link.
If you guys have future calls on this, please pull me in on it, because I think I could bring some value on actually making it happen. So.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why I tagged you, Brian.
Actually, I wonder
automated.
If we should, for this, at least the spec texts, if we should try to assemble an umbrella PDF that includes all the individual PDFs of the releases that make up one umbrella release. I've done an ebook for metrics, which works relatively nice, but I haven't looked at creating an umbrella. But perhaps this, for people that really want to read the PDFs, could also be nice to have this in one place and not 10 individual documents.
Right. Yeah, this is another idea. Yeah, by the way, I put the MicroProfile site, that issue on the minutes. So if anybody interested, just add comments, how to design, what kind of design you like. So we'll work with Ryan to have that page design.
Okay.
That's one.
Yep, good topic. All right, so let's just continue the conversation in the Google group and post anything, you know, track the issue. Next bullet is Amelia.
So hold on for me a second. I just saw extra tickets, extra agenda topics being added. Ivar, you are here and you rarely join this call. The topic you want to talk about is under marketing, so remove it to marketing and quickly tell us what's up. Can we give Ivar a minute, please? He is the first time kind of joining this call, and I want to make sure that he's properly welcome and also that he knows what to do. Ivar, 1 minute. Because
Thank you. I'll be quick. So I have this Jakarta E buff at Code One, and I've labeled it as the community buff. And my intention is to have like community representatives that are not necessarily active in the Jakarta E working group there to discuss. I also invite all the Jakarta E working group members to be there, but I want them to listen. So this is a perfect opportunity for us as a community to discuss openly, so we can have input from people that are not in the calls at the Jakarta E working group. So we can get all the input we need. There are two major topics coming up. And both of them have been discussed on various mailing lists. One of them is the namespace change, where we go from JavaX to Jakarta, and that will affect MicroProfile as well. And the other one is how are we going to figure out how to relate the relationship between MicroProfile and Jakarta EE2B. I know there has been some blog posts and email threads and Twitter threads out there, and there are strong opinions about this. So I just want us to come together and discuss it, as many as possible, and make this the coolest, most popular BOF at Code One.
I will say, will there be beer at that BOF? Even though if it's after hours, I mean, you need to bring something else.
Yeah, no, I probably will have to lean on you, Amila, to fix that, because you know how so because I don't know how the regulations and stuff are in the US.
They are really bad. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I was joking. So
please bring your own beer.
Paper bags. I'll bring the paper bags.
So Ivar, so do we agree with this? This is great. So can you send a message to the forum, to the MicroProfile forum?
Yeah, I will that, and I'll also create a Google Doc similar to this one, so you can just post things that we want to discuss, even if you're not at Code One. So we'll address this.
So go directly and use the marketing drive. We wanted to be included in the marketing. So there is an area that says content. It's public. So just create one folder and say Oracle, and the conferences, Oracle One, and just on it before you send that data. And if you need any questions, just contact us directly via Git. Fire a Git, do the process. And thanks for bringing this up. I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That was a minute.
It's going to be there, so.
Okay, going down. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wonder if this could be somehow coordinated with EclipseCon Europe, because last year we streamed some of the, I think, Jakarta update call or something like this, because all this will be at EclipseCon.
Yeah, but this year it's not a conflict, so EclipseCon is a month later. So I'll be at EclipseCon as well, and we can do the similar kind of BOF style thing there.
So I didn't check the dates.
No worries.
Alex, you can go first.
Okay. Sorry, I think I was off mute. So thank you, Heiko, I think you brought this up in a previous call that I haven't been to a lot of these, so I do apologize for that. So I have been in the bits of free time I've been able to get more recently, been trying to work a bit further on the MicroProfile logging proposal. One of the things I'd sort of considered was how to sort of easily integrate open tracing support. So that's something I have sort of done. So you can do like log at span, so that's on a span level basically, and that will send the log message off to the current span that's active, and that supports like child spans as well, etc. And there's also MicroProfile config in there for also setting the level, so you can either turn off, you can either say that same logging message not only goes to the open tracing server, but it also goes to your log file at fine, finer, or off, or whatever you want to, and you use MicroProfile config to tweak the name of the logging level and the actual level number itself. So that's something I added there. So I'd appreciate possibly if people could have a look at that and provide feedback on it. There's probably a little bit of work I need to do. So I have linked to the GitHub branch there, what I've done some work, but I probably need to sort of tidy that up a little bit. And I will post that into the long, ever-growing logging thread in the Google group. And then really the second part of this really is, what do I do, or how should I best proceed on this at all, to either get a no, it's not going to happen, or yeah, keep doing it as a thing that people could use as an optional, just supporting sort of library, or yes, actually let's continue to try and push this through as a specification item for a future MicroProfile spec, I guess. So just that guidance I'm looking for in short, really.
So
what I get from, sorry, just one quick note. What I gathered from the thread is that there's still, I think folks are trying to still understand the problem that's trying to be solved. I don't know if there's a clear understanding of where the pain point is. and why a spec needs to be created. So I've been trying to keep up, but that's my feedback on that thread. Sorry,
Yes.
I think it was Heiko.
So I was looking at that after I then had this link and read through your spec, start of the spec, and also been looking into logging a bit more in more global thing. And I think what we need to do, and where after which it would make sense to have this as a microprofile logging, is really dig a lot into what's called structured logging. So far, and this is not also part of this Google Flogger, you can basically dump random strings in a log line without any semantics, which are sort of just digital garbage that you dump somewhere and hope that someone will make sense out of it. And if we come to a point where we have log fields that have key and a value, and perhaps even include some stuff like a trace ID under a well-known key, and have that for all the implementations, then we create value and may have these created under the hood, so that they just are provided even without the user needing to do anything. Then it makes sense to have this new kind of logging API on one side. And then from the backend side, this would also need to have support for counterparts, because depending on the implementation of your logging system, you want different output formats. For example, with the new Loki, this works best if you have a pretty simple JSON output format, where you can then also easily put exceptions in one of the JSON fields, and they are not parsed as multi-lines, but really as one blob of stuff, and these kind of things. I won't be able to contribute a lot in the next 3 weeks because of PTO, but I'm certainly interested in doing a little bit more. And I was also talking with Don Born, who is also on the metric spec from IBM, and he's also interested in that area. So yeah, that's my feedback.
Yeah, as Don certainly is interested, and he was in the original conversation. One thing actually is in the last Hangout, Alex, Heiko and I was searching for the login like a prototype and couldn't find it. So it's I think the first thing to do is you can move this one from your personal hub to the sandbox, so that people can contribute to the sandbox ideas and proposals, because we clarified there's the MicroProfile dash sandbox is 0 bar entry. You can directly do a PR under the proposals, so that that will be attract more attention from people in the MicroProfile. So it's in this case, we can easily search there. I'm certainly interested in this logging proposal myself.
Yeah, okay, that's great. I mean, so I have, I can post another link. I have sort of forked the sandbox, and that's where I put the copy of the spec that I sort of started writing with the intention of opening a pull request. But and that's what I posted into the Google group to sort of get some feedback, I suppose, before I opened the pull request. But then it was actually subsequent community meetings that I realized that the sandbox is how I get that feedback. Basically, how opening that pull request is how I actually get that feedback. So that's something that that I will be doing as soon as I can. The main sort of point of where I've come from with the logging side of things, and I won't sort of go on too long about this, is where we have specs for everything, and the aspect of portability for config and for all those. If I write an app that uses those MicroProfile specs, I should be able to lift that and drop that on any runtime, and it will just continue to work with not needing really to rebuild it, or not needing to do something significant to change that application. And I think that's true of any spec, really. But what seems to be consistent is logging is different in some way on every platform, and you either might be lucky that you've picked a framework like the funny enough, like Java util logging, that seems to be present on most platforms, and you can probably get away with logging. And when I say logging tends to work anyway, but if you want that integrated where logging management is done by the server, the platform, the runtime that you're using, and it looks and is formatted the same as all the logging that's coming out of that runtime, then you need to have picked a logging framework that works, and then it's that is supported by that runtime. And then you're lucky you picked one that happens to be supported by all the runtimes, but there's no, or you've picked one that is less supported. So the experiment repo that I created kind of highlighted that if you picked Java util, you probably work most places. If you picked like log4j v2, you're lucky if you get one or two, maybe not all of them. And there's no guarantee. That doesn't give you any kind of future proofing whatsoever. So it felt like, given MicroProfile and microservices being, logging is one of those 12, the 12-factor app. It seems like a key aspect, and all the other pieces are, all the other specs are leaning towards that 12-factor app, yet logging seems to be left out. And so I felt like it was something that I may as well start raising and see what people thought. And then from there, we had this discussion about, well, which API do you pick, etc. It felt like a trade-off that or a suitable compromise that with Flogger, you could create a MicroProfile derivative of that, which gave us a place to expand and add MicroProfile specific functionality without really inventing a new API or only inventing new bits that are specific to MicroProfile, because it was a logging framework already out there, and it's been out there for a few years, although it seems like it's only more recently that it's got some press attention. Whereas I felt like that extensibility was less likely or not as easy with the pre-existing SLF4j or the log4j, etc. So that's kind of where I've come from. I'll keep trying to push this through as best I can, and until we kind of come to some sort of conclusion on it.
Yeah, Alex, what about maintaining it? Currently, you are in the sandbox, and I remember the first time you brought it up via the forum, and then you joined this call. What about the maintenance? Because you're moving forward, and it's so amazing. When you say we, who is we?
Well, hopefully the MicroProfile community. I mean, I've started this off as to try and get the ball rolling, and I think once it gets to that point where it is an accepted, either just an extension library that people could use or whatever, then, or it becomes part of the specification, then I'm happy for anyone and everyone to get involved and own it jointly. I mean, it's not my baby, really. It's just, I'm just trying to get it to that point where it's either, from my point of view, it's actually interesting just to know that the rest of the world doesn't see any value in it, and that's fine. And I'll just use the library for my own stuff, and that's great. And it's been a learning exercise for me anyway. But if there is a general applicability to it, then obviously I think it should be a general applicability to the people who contribute to it and think of new things and new integrations that work with the rest and pull in or make the best of the other MicroProfile specs. Did that answer your question, Amelia? Sorry.
Yeah, totally. It's just because sometimes we assume that everyone knows logging and how you started it, like the thread. But you need to always remember that many people join the call and they have never heard about it. So context was what is required. My question, you did amazing. Like, that's like so fun to see it go from 0 to now, at least on my side.
Great. So I guess my next approach and my next point really then is to open the pull request on the sandbox. I'll add to that specification that the open tracing support that I started. Heiko, please get in touch however you want to, whenever you're available, or if you can, jot down your ideas and give me something to read over and think over, then you do that, and yeah. I'll do that.
I think you are somewhere from your accent in the European time zones. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm in South Wales in the UK.
Okay, so perhaps we could have a quick call tomorrow morning or so Is that?
Here go.
Can you send me an email? And then I'll just show you around a little bit about what I was doing and before I vanish.
Yes.
So shoot me an email and then I'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay.
And probably with a time that fits you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, moving ahead to the last topic, Amelia, Git infrastructure.
Yeah, John, can you open the bug? This is about how contributors and committers work in all the projects under Eclipse. Early this year, we realized while working on the Git that many contributors were not able to assign tickets to themselves, not only on the code, but in the marketing side, all of it together. And this, we have Ruan, we have Harisek, well, everyone. So then there, can you go down? This was created, this is not even the original, this was created in 2015. So I contacted the masters privately and say, hey, why is this? And then they are so awesome. They pointed me out to this bug. They said, this has been a bug for a while, but it was never worked on. If you want us to check it out, let us know and we will do our best to figure it out. So then we open it here in March, and then I brought it to the community, and thankfully Kevin and Emily joined also the thread. And now we are in a process of helping change the Gits so that contributors can be added to Git projects all under Eclipse. There are more than 300 projects or so, and they will be managed by the committers, and they will be added and removed, and that means they will have right access to create tickets or issues, to assign not only to themselves but to others that are not committers or are committers. So we're creating an environment where it's a more of a flat structure. This will affect everyone under Eclipse, and it's so much fun because you can see the last message from the guys, from the masters. John, can you go to the bottom? We are in the last steps. There are 2 tickets or 3 tickets open on this. It's like it has been, so then when I asked when we will have it, because it was supposed to be done in May, but then Jakarta happened, so most of the work is being done there. They said, these are the steps we have. So, and you know, the average is about 1 committer to 15 contributors. So really, we need a flat structure. There is a social responsibility and trust to enable everyone to create and end a ticket, a PR, anything. And I think this is so important. It goes beyond what we mean about open source and collaborating in code. And to me, this cannot be done alone. Everyone, there are 15 people added to this ticket plus with the masters, and everyone in that thread has done a great job openly owning it. This ticket and the other ones, because there are multiple. So questions about this, you need to go and consume, it's a lot of data, but I think it's so much fun because it will be done this year. And it will affect everyone.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. Actually, in the on the Eclipse architecture core, and then we discussed this. I think I strongly support this.
Mm-hmm.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And let's hear from those of you who are yet committers of MicroProfile. What do you think about this?
I think this is an awesome progress to be able to assign to contributors.
Yeah, I think both Heiko and I had this pain. Like you feel like okay, on our MicroProfile Hangouts, is people are actively trying to work on some issue. I'm struggling to assign that issue to them. It's really bad.
Yeah, it's frustrating. So. And everyone can say, oh my God, but a bug that is 4 years old, why are we reviving it? Why wouldn't we? That first person that wrote the bug deserves the merit to have that tracing. Clearly, we could have wrote a new bug, but why would that be? There is a level of respect to appreciate the attention to detail to those ones that came before us. And I think MicroProfile is super important on this, that we give credit where it's due and we don't own the progress alone. So with that message, I want to say thank you to Emily and Kevin for being added to this, for choosing to be added to this thread. I really like that and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna step in here. Yes, thank you very much for reviving this thread, and it looks like it's going to happen at some point. So we've reached the end of the hour. It's the top of the hour. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining. And again, please make sure that you have your name in the meeting minutes under the contributor section. And I'll see everyone in the same bat time, same bat channel in a couple weeks.
Heiko, have a beautiful vacation.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Personally, I think logging would be a great PTO task.
3 weeks PTO. Oh my God. Only in Europe.
You know what I got myself for PTO, among others?
Oh,
hold on. Let me take a photo of this. This is super cute. You know, Ryan says I need to take no cell phone photos, but actually screenshots. So I'm doing my best. Everyone smile.
Oh, that's shameless, Heiko. That's shameless.
Thank you. Yeah. Everyone, great goal. See you next time.
Bye.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye all.